historical research.
Captain, I'm getting something.
Put it on audio.
Three had operated as the first horseman, with Apocalypse looking to fulfill biblical prophecy, live up to his namesake, and inspire fear throughout the world. He sought out a fourth horseman to take the role of Death, eventually setting his sights on Warren Worthington. Taking place in the final pages of X Factor issues 16, 17, and 18, by which Gambit undergoes to become the Horseman Death. And let me tell you something, man, like as Horseman Death, he looks amazing. Dude, he looks so good. He's one of the coolest looking Horsemen of Apocalypse that there's ever been, with like the all black and the red eyes and like the long hair. It looks so beast. He's
famine and death.
I have no words.
The fourth and final horseman is the Pale Rider. Many scholars describe a sickly appearance as opposed to a specific color like the other horsemen. In later artistic interpretations, the color green is what we would associate with the Horseman of Death. When the Lamb broke the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature saying, "Come." I looked, and behold a pale horse, and he who sat on it had the name Death, and Hades was following with him. Authority was given to them over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by the wild beasts of the earth. The fourth horseman is the only one to be mentioned by name. He's also referred to as Thanatos, a Greek deity or spirit associated with non-violent death.
Your interest. That's right.
Death is also described as being followed by Hades, which in this sense may not necessarily mean the god himself, but more so Hades, the resting place of the dead. Authority was given to them over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by the wild beasts of the earth. This can be interpreted as death being given authority to kill, and Hades to take the souls. But the fact it mentions by sword, famine, and pestilence, you would imagine this passage refers to all four horsemen. After years of carnage, famine, oppression, and failures by the Empire to look after its own people, death would mark the dissolution of the Roman Empire.
Massively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement.
Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. You may also notice, based on the passage, Death is the only horseman who does not come equipped with something in his hands, whether this be a weapon or otherwise. You might say that Death is the weapon himself. Instead, he is accompanied by Hades, which in Christian beliefs is a state of place of departed spirits, and not the Greek god of the underworld, although that might look pretty cool. Some illustrations see Death carrying a scythe, though the Bible makes no mention of this. Death may be the most mysterious of the horsemen, given that he doesn't have much of a description. In fact, the only thing that is really described about him is his horse, which is pale, which many may attribute to the color of a corpse. Death's role appears to be quite obvious. He is there to either kill or to collect the souls of the dead.
The unicorn is one of the most famous mythological creatures that ever existed. The animal is depicted by being a horse with a single horn in the center of its forehead, and so it was named unicorn, which means only one horn. These amazing horses are characterized as being docile beings, but extremely temperamental. Domesticating them was virtually an impossible task. Even though they escaped any attempt of approachment done by men, the unicorns could be receptive to virgin maidens with a pure heart. These are normal as unicorn horns. Even the Queen of England, Elizabeth I, had one of those fangs, believing it was a unicorn horn. But, since we are talking about the Kingdom of England, the unicorn is part of the royal coat of arms of Queen Elizabeth II and in many other coats around the world. Nowadays in pop culture, the unicorn ended up being a meal of Voldemort, who drank its blood to preserve its life in the book series Harry Potter. We also have the unforgettable Uni from Dungeons & Dragons, who seemed to have as her single role a tendency to always get in trouble, precisely when the hero market for toys with the figure of this creature.